billions of dollars in damage caused by 3 million wild pigs to the agricultural industry in Mississippi. Hundreds of wild boars attacked hunters. Many people were seriously injured. How farmers and hunters have responded to invasive wild boars. How hundreds of traps work. The Mississippi area is suffering severe damage due to wild boar attacks on cornfields. The wild boar problem is becoming increasingly serious. The current number of wild pigs is estimated at 3 million, 10 times more than in 2019. Wild boars eat seeds, seedlings, and mature plants, leading to direct damage to corn yields. According to a study by the University of Mississippi, wild boars can destroy up to 90% of a corn crop in one night. According to data from the U.S. Department of Agriculture USDA, the average price of corn in the United States in June 2024 is $6.53 3SD per bushel. This has had a major impact on the livestock and export industries. As the damage to agricultural production becomes increasingly serious, the government has organized hunting campaigns to deal with invasive wild boars. Hunts involve highly specialized hunters. However, hunting wild boar with a gun can be dangerous for hunters who lack experience and knowledge. According to data from the Mississippi Department of Wildlife, Fisheries and Parks MDWFP, an average of 50 to 100 hunters are attacked by feral pigs each year. In 2021, a hunter in Simpson County was attacked by a wild boar and had to be hospitalized for treatment after the boar bit his hand. The hunter's companions recounted the harrowing story of facing a massive 600-pound wild boar. After the hunter fired the first shot, the wild boar became aggressive and it rushed straight towards the hunter. Following these incidents, many hunters have become extremely cautious during their hunts, understanding that in the wild, danger can arise at any time and from anywhere. An important lesson is to never hunt wild boar alone. Instead, always hunt in groups of at least 2 people and keep others informed of your hunting plans. If attacked by a wild boar, try to stay calm and resist to defend yourself. When hunting, hunters must have experience in hunting techniques and wild boar behavior to stay safe. Dealing with wild boars using extreme measures has not received enthusiastic support from some community members. Therefore, the Mississippi authorities have adopted the use of traps as a countermeasure. This approach has been highly appreciated by many residents due to its convenience and the fact that hunters do not have to come into direct contact with the wild boars. Local people have deployed effective net traps to deal with the problem of wild boars regularly entering cornfields. These traps are constructed using nets sourced from livestock equipment suppliers, placed at a height of 34 inches to prevent feral hogs from escaping. People reinforce the frame with nets and T-posts to secure the trap. In the video is a detailed and organized process. Hunters begin by placing the net in a circle on the ground. They use a brick setting tool to install a spear in the center, which is the starting point for each strut. Next, they use colored strips to measure and align the length of each strut, helping the mesh stretch evenly and firmly. Hunters continue to start building traps to secure the net by installing small hooks on each iron bar, ensuring that when wild boars dig under the net, they cannot escape outside the net. They use pins to fix the net to the ground. To complete the trap installation process, they pull the net to keep it taut and ready to catch wild boars. Mississippi hunters installing the pig brig trap system demonstrate how to install a net above to prevent feral hogs from escaping. The hunter aligns the seam of the net with the seam of the sheam of thap, then tightens the net around the anchor points and the net with tie-down hooks. The installation of net traps must comply with government legal regulations on environmental and wildlife protection. Clear legal documents and approval from authorities are required before implementation. Hunters prepare each 5-gallon bucket used with 1/2 bag of corn, 5 pounds of sugar, 3 packets of yeast, and 2 to 3 packets of mix. Soft drinks such as Fanta and Kool-Aid with different fruit flavors. After mixing well with water, the bucket lid is lightly covered to allow gas to escape during fermentation. This fermentation process helps develop bacteria that create an attractive bait for wild boars. When the scent of food spreads, wild boars appear from deep in the forest and approach the trap area. They travel in groups, looking for food sources. Pig brig traps are designed with nets made from tough and sturdy materials such as polypropylene or nylon, capable of withstanding strong impacts and resisting biting and tearing. The trap is equipped with a smart trigger mechanism, using a snap plate or sensitive rope. When the wild boar steps on the net or hits the rope, the net will automatically collapse quickly and hold the prey tightly inside. Thanks to this feature, although wild boars can easily reach inside the trap, they have difficulty escaping. When trapped, wild boars often tend to panic and struggle vigorously to try to escape. However, this action causes them to get entangled in the net. Because they cannot climb from above, their escape rate is very low. According to the Mississippi Department of Fish and Game, in 2019, there were an estimated 270,000 feral hogs in Mississippi. However, this number is expected to drop to around 150,000 by 2023, thanks to effective control measures. Using traps to hunt wild boars is considered safer than using guns, but hunters need to follow safety measures to avoid danger. When checking traps or collecting, hunters need to be extremely careful. Making noise that agitates wild boars can cause them to become aggressive and attack. Especially when they are trapped in traps, they can become very dangerous and vulnerable to the hunter. Therefore, approaching and handling these situations needs to be done with extreme preparation and vigilance, ensuring the safety of hunters. In the Mississippi area, weather plays an important role in wild boar hunting using net traps. The most stable weather for hunters to set net traps to catch wild boars is in the fall and spring. During this time, the temperature usually ranges from 50 deg to 70 deg, making the scent from the food in the trap easier to spread and maintain. Bad weather conditions can reduce the effectiveness of scent, making it difficult for wild boars to detect and access the trap. The convenience of setting net traps is that this type of trap can be placed near cornfield areas. A study in Mississippi showed that the use of net traps was effective in reducing damage to cornfields by up to 75%. In addition to using net traps, people also find it effective in using iron cage traps. These types of traps are often widely sold at hunting equipment stores. Iron cage traps are often installed on flat lands, where wild boar activities are regularly observed. Iron cage traps require careful installation and operation, often requiring the cooperation of at least 2 hunters to ensure safe installation. Traps can catch many wild boars at the same time, from 30 to 40 at a time. Traps can operate continuously and automatically without human supervision, saving time and effort for hunters. The cost of purchasing and using a trap is usually lower than the cost of purchasing and using a gun. There are many debates and conflicting opinions in the community due to hunting and trapping activities in the forest. Animal rights activists voice concerns that the use of traps could cause stress and injury to wild boars. Authorities need to put in place clear handling policies to ensure humane treatment and compliance with animal protection regulations. At the same time, the application of other methods of controlling the wild boar population should also be considered to ensure environmental protection and maintain ecological balance. Some communities suggest using sound waves to scare these animals away from areas such as cornfields. Sound waves do not harm wild boars and do not disrupt natural habitats too much. Furthermore, it can be effective in maintaining ecological balance and protecting the agricultural environment. In the age of technology, hunters have used unmanned aerial vehicles, UAVs, in monitoring and managing wild pigs. UAVs are applied to monitor forest lands and agricultural areas, providing detailed information about potential locations for traps. Minimize human intervention in the natural environment and protect ecological balance. Without strict supervision, there is a risk that some hunters will take advantage of this to hunt wild boar in an inappropriate and unsafe manner. This behavior can lead to the consumption of untested wild boar meat, which poses a risk to human health because the meat may contain viruses and pathogens. This is especially important in the prevention of zoonotic diseases, emphasizing that strict surveillance and control are necessary to ensure food safety and public health. The above measures are a new step in controlling the number of wild pigs in Mississippi. Using technology has shortened the time to deal with wild boars. Comment 1 if you agree with preventing the wild boar population from increasing. Thank you for watching the entire video. Please continue watching the video. Did dingoes originate in Australia, or were they introduced? According to information, dingo dogs originate from Southeast Asia, introduced to the Australian continent by Austronesians through migrations about 4,000 years ago. In Brisbane, damage caused by dingo increased by 70% in 2022, with total losses reaching 1.4 million odd. Because they are highly adaptable, they can survive in many different environments, from arid deserts to tropical jungles. They hunt in groups and can take down prey as large as kangaroos. Therefore, Australians are facing many challenges, first of all causing ecological imbalance. At first, dingo dogs were brought to live with humans, assisting them in hunting and guarding. However, habitat changes, population growth, and lack of food have caused dingo dogs to increasingly attack livestock, especially sheep. Do you wonder why they are so affected? The reason learned from the farmer is that due to their slow-moving instinct, dingo dogs often attack the weakest sheep in the herd and weigh 50 pounds. Every year, they cause millions of dollars in damage to the livestock industry. The damage caused to the Australian livestock industry by the invasive dingo is a serious problem, affecting both livestock populations and the meat processing industry. With a huge body weight of cows and herds, why can dingoes still attack? The main reason is due to their group hunting behavior. They often coordinate attacks, forcing their prey into panic and creating conditions for them to easily attack. The next reason, grazing livestock outside large fields, also creates favorable conditions for dingo dogs because there is no direct control of the breeder. Each year, dingo causes losses to the Australian livestock industry from 100 million odd to 200 million odd. To minimize damage caused by dingo dogs, do you have any new measures to help Australians deal with this invasive species? If so, please comment 0 below. Did you know that invasive wild boar and deer are important species in the ecosystem? Overpredation by dingoes can lead to a decline in the species population, affecting the food chain and biodiversity. A dingo's running speed is 40 to 50 mph faster than a wild boar's 30 to 40 mph and a deer's about 35 to 40 mph. Therefore, the dingo can move continuously for long periods, pursuing its prey relentlessly until it is exhausted. This helps them catch up with their prey in unexpected situations. They will attack the hips, throat, and abdomen of wild boars. What measures do Australians need to take to prevent serious damage caused by invasive dingoes to strike a balance between protecting the livestock industry and preserving the ecosystem? To catch and kill dingoes, Australian farmers use the popular method of setting leg traps to control the number of this species. After trapping them, hunters will use hunting tools to take them down. But there are some notes to ensure the safety of hunters. They must have a hunting license issued by the local government and have regulations on the number of dingoes allowed to hunt in a certain period. According to statistics from the Australian Department of Agriculture, Fisheries and Forestry data, on average each year, about 10,000 dingoes are destroyed nationwide. I hope the above information will be helpful to you in dealing with invasive dingoes. You might wonder how many invasive dingoes each hunter will be allowed to hunt in 24 hours, right? According to local government management, a hunter is allowed to shoot 10 dingoes per week or 50 per month. In addition, hunters who violate dingo hunting laws may also be subject to the following penalties. In serious cases, the hunter may be prosecuted for criminal liability and face a prison sentence. Laws and regulations regarding dingo hunting may change over time. Therefore, hunters need to regularly update the latest information to ensure compliance with the law. If you have any questions, please comment below the description so we can answer them for you. The Australian hunter's secret when hunting is to avoid being attacked by dingo dogs. You should not go hunting dingo alone. Observe your surroundings for danger from wild animals or other hazards. Share your experiences of safe dingo hunting with others to raise safety awareness among the hunting community. Each hunter needs to be responsible for the environment, not littering or polluting the environment in the hunting area. The final measure, supported by some communities and a humane measure, is to return invasive dingoes to animal conservation areas. The most famous dingo sanctuary in Australia is the Fraser Island Dingo Sanctuary, located on Fraser Island, Queensland. This area of more than 160,000 hectares is the dingo's natural habitat, where they can freely move, hunt, and breed. Here, aggressive dingoes have been tamed due to the careful care of the staff, who provide food, water, and safe shelter. What do you think about this last measure? If you agree, please comment number 1. The above 3 measures have helped control the number of invasive dingo dogs, which has decreased sharply in recent years. In Australia, livestock farms and ecosystems have been restored to stability thanks to the above responses. In your opinion, which way of coping is the most effective? After watching the entire video, do you know why Australians have had such a hard time finding ways to deal with this invasive species? If you know the reason, please comment number 2. Thank you for watching this video. Click the subscribe button to watch the latest videos on how to deal with invasive species in Australia.
The Japanese invasive wild boar is an introduced species, but is a native species present on all Japanese islands. The first city to be invaded by wild boars was Hiroshima City in 2010. However, in recent years, wild boar numbers have increased dramatically and expanded their range into urban areas. Are you curious about their increase in numbers, right? According to the study, human displacement in rural areas leading to the abandonment of many fields is the main reason why wild pigs lack food sources on farms and in hiding places. The second reason is due to urbanization development, leading to an increasingly polluted environment, causing wild pigs to lose their natural food source. Those are the reasons leading to increasing numbers of wild boars attacking the city. Please comment number 1 if you have other reasons. Did you know that Japan is known as a clean country? But the invasion of wild boars is changing this merge. They dig around, dirty the streets, and destroy parks and gardens. The waste they leave behind causes unsanitary conditions and affects the city's landscape. In 2020, damage caused by wild boars to infrastructure in the city was estimated to reach 10 billion yen, about $88 million. Not only that, they also attack tourist areas, affecting economic development and exchanges between countries. On July 23, 2023, a rare incident occurred in Kamakura City, Kanagawa Prefecture, Japan. A wild boar weighing about 220 pounds swam ashore and attacked a 72-year-old woman walking on the beach. This is the first incident of wild boars attacking humans at a sea recorded in Japan. The incident confused residents and attracted media attention. Local authorities have advised people to avoid walking alone on the beach and to be careful when approaching wild boars. if you are walking on the street and encounter a wild boar coming towards you. How will you handle this situation? Leave a comment below to let me know. Compared to the way people in Florida go, Japanese farmers often lean towards defensive measures rather than defeating them. While people in Florida often use tools to actively take down wild boars, Japanese farmers often prioritize prevention measures and community training. This may reflect differences in culture and approaches to problems between the two countries. In Japan, people have developed an effective method to capture invasive wild boars using iron cage traps. The trap is approximately 43 square feet, large enough to trap 2 to 3 adult wild boars. The cage is designed with sturdy steel and can hold wild boars weighing up to 200 pounds, and the young ones can trap 5 to 6 fish. The iron cage trap is designed with an open door, whose main function is to let wild boars inside. Bait food is carefully placed inside the cage, aiming to attract wild boars and stimulate their curiosity. When wild boars step into the trap and approach food, the lever system automatically activates. This causes the trap door to close quickly, effectively trapping the wild boar inside. A huge thanks to this perfect combination of trapdoor, bait, and lever system. The process of catching wild boars becomes simple and effective for Japanese people. This design was created by Mr. Masayoshi Sakamoto, a resident of Hiroshima Prefecture, Japan. Mr. Sakamoto shared his ideas and designs on social networks, helping people in many other areas apply and effectively control invasive wild boar. With this countermeasure of farmers, not harming this invasive animal species is considered a humane action for them. If you find this method effective, please leave your feedback below in the comment section right now. The image of wild boars trying to find a way out is their desire to survive. They panicked and tried to break the trap to escape confinement. But the iron cage trap was designed so firmly that they couldn't cope. This type of trap helps save farmers time in installation, and the trap material is made of iron, so it is harder to damage than traps made of wood. The second method Japanese people use is the technique of installing lick traps to effectively catch wild boars. Traps are placed in forests where few people travel and where wild boars often hide. The design of the trap has a flat surface placed under the ground with a long steel wire tied to the tree trunk to keep the trap in place. Then, the trap is covered with a layer of leaves to avoid the attention of wild boars. When wild boars pass by and step on the trap will automatically clamp their legs. One of the pig's legs will be held by the rope in the trap, making it impossible for them to escape the trap. After a certain period, people will check traps and collect captured wild boars. After being caught, wild boars are brought back for processing according to a safe and effective process. Usually they will be taken to specialized pressing stations to check their health and decide on appropriate treatment, including use for other purposes such as food or other processed products. This helps minimizing the impact of wild boars on the region's agriculture and natural environment. After successfully trapping wild boars, people will collect them. This requires those who collect wild boars to have experience in handling this animal to ensure safety for themselves and the surrounding environment. These people will use a second steel wire to hold the pig tightly at one end and use specialized tape to fix its snout and forelegs. This action helps preventing wild boars from becoming surprised and attacking during the process of transporting them to the pressing area. In this way, not only does it ensure human safety, but it also ensures that wild boars are transported safely and effectively to the disposal site, helping to minimize risks. However, if you take this measure to deal with wild boars, I would like to remind you that at least 2 people are needed to effectively carry out the process of handling and collecting wild boars. One person may be responsible for handling the pig and controlling it, while the other may be responsible for transporting and assisting during work. Having 2 people can help increase your ability to deal with unwanted or unexpected situations that may arise during wild boar collection. You can cooperate and quickly solve problems to ensure their safety. Have you wondered why Japanese people don't use hunting equipment like American hunters? Japanese people do not use tools to hunt wild boars like Americans, mainly due to cultural, legal, and geographical reasons. In Japan, using hunting equipment requires many licenses and complex legal processes due to strict legal regulations. At the same time, Japan's small size and complex terrain also reduce the ability to use hunting equipment safely, potentially posing risks to the population and the natural environment. Additionally, in Japanese culture, respect for animals and the environment is highly valued. Therefore, people often prefer methods that do not harm animals, such as using lick traps. Comment number 1 if you agree with the countermeasures of the Japanese people. And comment 0 if you disagree with the method of using hunting equipment. Thank you for watching the entire video. Click the like button now and subscribe to the channel to watch the next videos on how to deal with wild boars.
According to a recent report by National Public Radio, Lufkin, a city in East Texas, is struggling with an increase in the number of invasive monkeys. These monkeys are said to have caused significant property damage, endangered public health, and even threatened the safety of people. In some cases, people have been attacked by monkeys, leading to a high risk of infection. Monkey feces are all over the streets, gardens, and amusement parks, causing serious environmental pollution and affecting public health. The wastewater system is also clogged with monkey feces, leading to the risk of disease outbreaks. Are you currently living in an area with invasive monkeys? What the climate and surroundings feel like? Lufkin, Texas, is famous for having the largest wild monkey population in the Americas, attracting millions of tourists each year. However, currently the city is facing a crisis caused by these monkeys. The number of monkeys increased dramatically, up to more than 3.5, and flooded the city, disrupting order and affecting people's lives. They destroy homes and businesses and even threaten human health. In the past, some residents fed monkeys and considered them part of the city's identity. However, the sudden increase in numbers caused the situation to become out of control. Going forward, what is the estimated cost of maintaining the invasive monkey control system in Lufkin, Texas, in USD per year? What is the reason for the increasing monkey invasion? The first reason is that tourists often throw trash indiscriminately and bring food and drinks, creating conditions for monkeys to easily find food. Feeding monkeys, especially food prepared by humans, will stimulate monkey reproduction. At the same time, local authorities need to take measures to deal with invasive monkeys so that they do not come and harass tourists. How do you feel when you are a tourist being harassed by invasive monkeys? Comment number 1 if you feel scared and anxious when being physically impacted by them. The invasive monkey problem in Lufkin, Texas is becoming more serious as the monkeys are frequently seen bathing in water tanks. Lufkin has many public water tanks used to water plants and provide water for outdoor activities. However, some invasive monkeys have discovered these water tanks and consider them an ideal destination for bathing. Some people tried to chase the monkeys out of the water tank, but these monkeys were very smart and agile, making it difficult to chase them away. A final major influence was the act of feeding invasive monkeys by people in the Lufkin area. According to statistics, the amount of waste caused by monkeys in Lufkin increased by 30% compared to before, leading to the risk of disease outbreaks. The number of infections due to living near the monkey invasion area in Lufkin has doubled in the past year. Although local authorities have implemented many propaganda and education measures, many people still lack awareness and continue to feed monkeys. To control invasive monkeys effectively over the long term, close coordination between local authorities, people, and wildlife protection organizations is needed. Don't take your eyes off the screen. The following video shows how to deal with invasive monkeys using traps. Using net traps requires patience and skill with the aim of not harming animals while ensuring safe data collection or taking necessary measures. However, the controversy surrounding wild monkey hunting has always been a big problem. Two opposing views were given. Some people said that this operation was cruel and unnecessary, while the U.S. government asserted that this was a measure to protect property and people's health. Net traps made from polyethylene fibers are cheaper and easier to find than other types of net traps. However, polyethylene fibers have lower durability and are not suitable for use in harsh environments. Therefore, you need to consider when buying this type of trap. Unlike net traps, iron cage traps are made from iron and are painted with a layer of paint on the outside to help preserve the trap for a long time. What is the convenience of this type of iron cage trap? This type of trap can be placed in cities where monkeys are infested. Every time people set a trap, they catch 5 to 10. They are often easily attracted by the bait in the trap. Attractive baits. When monkeys approach and try to find food, they will take the opportunity to find a way to get inside and access the corn. The use of traps must also comply with the provisions of the law. Hunters are licensed people who know how to use trap mechanisms, must be knowledgeable about monkey behavior, and also need to be able to handle dangerous situations when the trap is attacked. According to statistics from the Texas Parks and Wildlife Department, in 2023, more than 3,000 invasive monkeys were caught in cage traps statewide. This number is down about 20% from 2022, when more than 1,200 invasive monkeys were captured. In particular, for the city of Lufkin, more than 1,500 invasive monkeys have been captured in the past 2 years. Don't worry about the problem of invasive monkeys. Local authorities will try to protect the community. Besides, people also use wooden traps, but it will take more time to install, and each time the trap will be less effective than the above two methods. So you must learn about the mechanism of action and effectiveness of traps before going hunting. You will wonder how the people of Texas will handle them after monkey traps invade, right? They will take humane actions to ensure animal welfare and policies. Nature reserves will be places for invasive monkeys to freely search for food and not affect the lives of people in the city. In 2021, wolf losses to Montana's bison industry were estimated to reach $12 million. The cause of heavy damage is that grazing bison outdoors makes them easy prey for invasive wolves. Wolves move faster than bison, making it easier for them to approach and attack their prey. The invasive wolf's maximum movement speed is about 40 mph. On average, each year a wolf can take down 20 to 30 bison. This is a serious problem that needs to be resolved so as not to affect the economic resources of North Americans. Wolves are also an invasive species that are good swimmers. However, hunting underwater is their weakness because when moving underwater, wolves lose body heat more easily than on land. Their fur cannot keep warm in cold water, so bison can escape from invading wolves. If you are a livestock farmer in North America, please take preventive measures before wolves attack your livestock area. Overnight, wolves invaded a sheep farm in North America, causing disaster for the sheep and the farmer's main asset. Damage is estimated to be up to millions of dollars when wild wolves invade the sheep farming area. The flock of sheep suffered heavy damage, some were injured, and a large number of sheep did not survive. The rapid attack left people and authorities without timely countermeasures. This is a warning to sheep farmers and other agricultural farms about the risk from wild wolves and the need for more effective prevention and protection measures to deal with this situation. For the wolf trapping process to ensure the safety of hunters, when is the most appropriate time for them to carry out the trapping process? Trapping of invasive wolves in North America is often done during the day rather than at night, even though wolves are primarily active at night. The first reason is that at night the terrain is covered with 3 to 4 feet of deep snow, making travel difficult and dangerous. The advice of farmers here is to install traps during the day. If you agree with this implementation process, please comment number 1. Moving through deep snow is very difficult and time-consuming, requiring hunters to have good health and the ability to adapt to harsh weather conditions. During this process, the hunter needs to wear warm enough clothes to avoid catching a cold. On average, it takes a North American hunter about 30 to 45 minutes to set up a trap in the snow. How long will it take a hunter with professional experience in hunting to set a trap? How long will it take you to wait for results when using leg traps to deal with invasive wolves? According to an experienced hunter, a wolf can be trapped within 1 to 2 weeks. Regular leg traps can capture wolf legs that are 2 to 4 inches in diameter. However, some larger traps can grip wolf legs up to 6 inches in diameter. If the wolf's foot size is larger than the above diameter, it will make the coping process difficult and unsuccessful. At the same time, while hunters are collecting wolves, they need to wear protective clothing such as thick gloves to avoid being hurt by their claws or fangs. These things help them avoid being infected with viruses transmitted by invasive species. Do you know what difficulties hunters face when setting traps? Installing wolf traps in snowy terrain in North America is difficult because deep snow makes digging holes difficult. The hunter must use a hammer to dig the hole, making the process longer and more labor-intensive. The size of the hole dug to place a wolf trap is usually about 1 to 2 feet. Use thin paper to cover the surface of the trap to hide it from the wolf's sight. Pour prepared soil onto the surface of the trap to fill the hole. Use a small broom to remove a thin layer of snow and even out the trap area, creating a natural look so wolves don't detect it.